The thing that I really like about the PAX Pokemon League is you run into some very interesting and diverse teams. Not everybody is going to be a competitive battler, by the way, so let me preface, you know, like 4 videos in, the fact that not every team is going to be a cohesive, good-looking, you know, Smogon standard team. You're gonna have some weird stuff. People are, God forbid, actually going to use whatever favorite they want, regardless of what tier it's in. And some people just really want to do, you know, weird and interesting things. So there's going to be a couple of games mixed in that people are going to be like, what is this garbage? I don't want to see this. But you got to understand that from my perspective, this is a random person coming up to me with zero context of what my team is about, and I have zero context of what their team is about. We are just 2 people, no tiers or anything like that, outside of the outside rule set. Nothing is dictated by tier. It is a barren desert where if a muck wants to fire punch me and almost knock me out on the very first turn with me completely forgetting that muck gets that, then they can do that. That's a thing that they are perfectly within their rights as a trainer to do. They can bring a fire punching muck, which is not terrible in its own territory, but this is everybody's territory. And the point I'm trying to make here is I'm gonna have videos that have some weird shit sometimes, and you guys are gonna be like, why? I'm just gonna be like, well, it's a tierless land. That's all it is. There is thousands, tens of thousands of people walking through this building on a daily basis. Some of them will have 3DSs, and some of them will have very interesting lineups. So with that in mind, I just really felt like getting my rocks up and not having my Ferrothorn get bopped by a Fire Punch Muck. So I decided to go out into Entei to take another Fire Punch, but he actually gets, or she, excuse me, this is a female opponent on this one. She gets me with the Poison Touch on the Shadow Sneak, which poisons my Entei, which is unfortunate, but I get some immediate karmic retribution by burning her Digger's Beat, and I'm actually able to just knock it out on the next turn with an Extreme Speed. I was assuming Burn was going to do it, but I can clean up. I just did not want to take the extra turn of poison damage, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, Muck, that was certainly a thing, wasn't it? Fire Punch and Shadow Sneak, it's probably got Gunk Shot and shit, I don't know, Ice Punch, maybe? I have no idea. Gator, given the fact that her Muck had Fire Punch, just based on that fact and that fact alone, and it is a Poison Touch one, I'm actually going to go ahead and assume that this is Sheer Force Gator. With Life Orb and everything else. So as much as I would love to deal with that, I actually wouldn't. And my Ferrothorn is at a very low amount of HP thanks to the encounter from earlier. So I don't have an ideal switch into this thing. I'm gonna have to deal with it pretty fast. Otherwise, it's going to get pretty fast, and things are going to get out of control for my team, because Sheer Force Gator can be a threat if your team is not prepared for, you know, a fast water type. If your team is not prepared for Gyarados, generally speaking, I'm not saying, like, they're going to be the same matchups, but you're generally not prepared for Sheer Force Gator either. I mean, I have T-Wave on Thundurus in case things do get out of hand. But I would rather not sacrifice my Thunders just for the sake of getting a Thunder Wave off. And I think I confirmed earlier with the Aqua Jet that it was Life Orb. But thankfully, all that passive damage is from it switching in Leech Seed, it trying to deal with Ferrothorn. So about half of its HP is gone just from flailing around in place, trying to get rid of the one switch in that I thought wasn't actually going to do a very good job. It actually puts it in range of the other 3... I have 3 priority moves on this team, holy shit. So I have Extreme Speed on Entei, I have Bullet Punch on Scizor, and I have Shadow Sneak on Gallade. So on top of that, it's at like -1 HP practically. And Stealth Rocks are up, so if it wants to switch out, which it actually does on this turn, I didn't see a spinner, so it's just going to die on switching, and that's fine by me that I forced it out into something else. But enter the #1 Scizor switch-in, basically, the Rotom Wash. And I'm out of Ferrothorn, so I'm still trying to, like, do this on the fly. The best thing I can do is probably go into Starmie to take the predicted Will-O-Wisp, or Hydro Pump if it does want to go for that. I'm not anticipating taking an electric move on this turn, but on the next one, I definitely will. I do need to get damage off on this thing in order for Scizor to really do anything, and in order for Gallade to actually be able to one-shot it without Swords Dancing, so that way I can not get burned. That would be great. So it seems like a stupid way to play my Starmie, but I kind of had to just to get some good damage on it. I don't have Thunderbolt on it, and I would have gone for Psyshock anyway. It's Dual Stab with Ice Beam and Rapid Spin is what it is. So, get to go into Thunders right now and just knock it out with an unboosted Thunderbolt, because I'm pretty sure a Hydro Pump would have done a pretty serious amount of damage to me. Also want a scenario where I can just clean up Rotom, as opposed to not lose another Pokemon to Rotom. So, Bisharp's going to come in, and this turn really scared me, because I went from being fully prepared for the rest of her team to absolutely losing control, 0% panic mode. What happens? I lose my freaking Thundurus to a crit from Bisharp. It's not even Life Orb. Like, I had no idea it did that much, but I'm actually going to go into Gallade right now, and the reason I don't Mega is because I have a Justified Gallade. So, if she wanted to go for Sucker Punch on that turn, it would have triggered my Justified, it probably wouldn't have knocked me out, and I would have gotten a close combat off on that turn, and then on this turn, I probably would have, jeez, I don't think I still even outspeed this thing, so I'm actually going to go ahead and get out of here and go into my Scizor, because priority bullet punches are, you know, being on the other side of this exchange, I hate having to deal with Scizors as Haluchas unless I'm behind a sub. Case in point, you know, I'm just going to keep bullet punching the Halucha. I'm expecting a Swords Dancer here. I was not expecting an attacking move, but this is fine, because Halucha, to my knowledge, does not get any priority / any reliable priority, and it's really fragile too, so a bullet punch will actually be able to take it out from 75%. I hate that it was not blessed with considerable bulk. It's not fantastic, but remember that crit on Bisharp from earlier and how karmically good that was going at the beginning of the game? That shit happens again. Get a crit on the Muck, and that is revenge for the other 4 times fire weak poke on my team. So Feraligator's also going to come in and die to rocks, and I believe that is actually going to be the game. So a little bit of a quicker one. That's okay. I've got other stuff going on in terms of games and whatnot. We're still on day 1 of battles that I've had, and I've actually been cutting out like every other one, because I'm looking at them and I'm like, a lot of these games were like under 5 minutes on the Versus recorder. They felt good in the moment, but they were just, you know, I'm not gonna lump together like 3 of them and make a decent length video. If it's over like 7 minutes, I'll upload it, but if it's not, I probably won't. That's a little bit too fast of a watch for a Wi-Fi battle, you know? Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you're more than welcome to leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, and do your thing. And that should do it out of me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.